Peter Fury, and don't forget to subscribe to Porky's Corner, because I've been a helmet of the month and you need to listen to me. Yeah? So follow him, yeah? And get the fella some followers up, for Christ's sake. He wears his heart on his sleeve, the good man Russ. So follow Porky's Corner, he says it as it is, and you know, I appreciate the helmet of the month, Russ. No problem.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's interesting. Are you disappointed not to see Anthony Yard, Dennis McCann, Archie Sharp, Dubois, Joyce on this card? You'd have thought a big
100%.
Yeah, a big card like this, world record breaking purse, Wembley.
Frank Warren has the eyes of not just the boxing world, Pork, right? He has the eyes of the sporting world on him. On April 23rd, he could have brought out all of his family silver and said, listen, today you get Fury versus White, but I'm also going to show you some of the guys who you're going to be paying for a few years down the line, right? That's exactly what he should have done. Brought out the family silver. Those lads would have fought. Like, there's a lot of lads that would have fought for a reduced purse because the exposure is what you need. You want people talking about you.
Are you disappointed not to see Dennis and Archie on there?
Yeah. I think there's some scheduling issues and there might be some injury issues. So they're two that I can understand not being on there for practical reasons. But the rest of that stable, they could have put those kids out there. Like, you know, all the kids that Frank's backing should be out there.
You think the money's a little bit tight with what's in pot, really? Do you think they're stretched at limits with that win, with that purse bid? I think they are.
Okay, let's say they are. Do you really think you're not paying Dennis McCann 50 grand right now anyway? So how hard is it to make a Dennis McCann fight? Not very.
They'd have gone in there for 10 grand each against a knockover, wouldn't they? That's what he could have done with them all, couldn't he?
Yeah, we're not even a knockover. Like, someone that's going to give him a little bit of a test. I mean, we want entertaining fights. You know, you could have put Yusuf Kamari on there. Yusuf isn't on 100 grand fight. You could have put Yusuf on there. Yusuf would have loved that fight. A load of people would have jumped at the chance. Alan Babbage would have loved to be on that card. There are loads of guys who'd love to be on that card.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
And Frank decided not to.
When you look at Froch Grove's undercard, then you look at this, it's like night and day last 8 years, isn't it?
Yeah. You had stars on that Froch Groves too. You had guys like, was that DeGale versus Medina on
Joshua there? On there. Joshua on
Mitchell.
there. James DeGay, Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah, it was a stout. But Eddie's never reproduced that. Eddie's never done that again, which is a shame. I think what people now say is, well, the main event sold everything out. So what's the point in putting on an undercard? It's like, come on, man, just have some respect for the fans.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward.
Exciting times ahead.
Exciting times ahead. This is why we love this sport so much, Dale Nichols. Okay, then. What did you think about, is it Pat McCormack's debut?
Didn't watch it. I think the Pat McCormack thing is one of the weirdest things I've seen in boxing. I've never seen someone that good be overlooked by everyone. And I was like, how much of a mess is his life outside the ring that no promoter would touch him apart from Pro Bellum? And they're about to have problems of their own.
Yeah.
That's insane. Pat McCormack, for the last 6 years, has been the best amateur this country's had. Comfortably. Not even close. Yeah, you ask anyone that watches enough amateur boxing, who's the guy that could do everything? Pat McCormack. Yeah. Who's another guy that could do everything? Luke McCormack. How those guys are not on a properly televised promotion is beyond me. I don't understand how the hell that's happened.
Yeah, I don't. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it?
There were rumors about how they were living in Sheffield and it was tolerated because they could still win medals. But they're not the only ones who were misbehaving in Sheffield. And they're by no means the first generation to do that. So why are they the ones that get punished?
Misbehaving in Sheffield. Do you know what EAS is? It's only a stone throw from Omega. No, that's a clip, isn't it? If you want a nice massage. Do you remember that chase, Billy Joe and Frankie Gavin got chased at 110 mile an hour down? That's a good fight, please. And Terry Edwards still didn't throw him out at Olympics, did he?
No. They were rare talents. They were rare talents back in 07.
Billy Joe were ripping shit up even at 17, wasn't he? When he first got his license.
Billy, mate, people won't understand how good Bill was back in those days because he came out of nowhere, if you remember. Literally, as soon as he's eligible as a senior, bam, let's have him. Get him in the setup. And he could just live with everyone there. He was comfortable there. But he never seemed to get better after that.
You think Billy went stagnate? He stagnated after he beat Andy Lee, do you think?
You know, Russ, it's deeper than that. My belief when it comes to boxing, and this is just based on what I've seen, there's a window for a fighter between 17 and 24. And in those 7 years, you become the boxer you're always going to be.
You reckon,
yeah? Yeah. But by 24, you're going to give me everything you've ever given me. You get more experienced and you'll be clever in how you use those things, but you won't add much new. It's not, your brain doesn't work that way. Once you're 24 and a half, you're locked in.
Do you feel that Billy's fall, what the rise and fall of Billy should have said, do you think his fall was his dedication? And
I think he loved life outside the ring more than life inside the
ring. Yeah. Have you seen the size of him now?
Yeah, him and Paul Smith, man. Imagine them in KFC.
Could you imagine him and Paul Smith in Nando's looking for peri sauce? Oh. Fucking hell. You wouldn't be able to get by aisle, would you? Okay, then. Well, we can't talk boxing without not acknowledging the elephant in the room. Daniel Kinahan. He looks like he's wanted by US government. There's a £5 million reward out, or $5 million. Where does this leave boxing and the 400 fighters that they've got? Where does it? What's going to happen now, Terry?
Ooh. So, mate, there are a number of levels to this, right? So there's a practical level. You're not going to be able to do any shows in the States, right? Yeah, you won't be able to do shows in the States. There's the other bit of what does Bob Arum do now? I think what you'll see is a lot of these American guys will have a hands-off relationship where money will still change hands, but it won't be from people connected to Daniel Kinahan. I'd be surprised if the money's even going through Kinahan-connected people at the moment. I don't believe it is. So a lot of this is quite symbolic in nature. That's the thing. But practically, here's the thing. They're coming for you. So this is just the first move. They're definitely coming for you. You know, do you move all of your operation to Dubai? Do you have all of your Probellum fighters fighting out of Dubai? That's an option.
Well, Dubai, sooner or later, are going to get fed up, aren't they, of them all loitering around there, aren't they? They're not stupid, are they?
Problem is, but here's the problem. They don't have an extradition treaty, so you can't extradite Daniel Kinahan. They'd have to just deport him. So if you deport him, where does he go? He might end up in northern Cyprus. And there's no extradition there because no one recognizes Northern Cyprus as a country.
If he's a big man, why don't you just go back to Ireland and face the music? Because all his lieutenants have, haven't they? They've had to go face it. So why can't he and show leadership?
So here's the question: what's the music he's got to face?
I don't know. Don't they want to speak to him about things? I mean, well, if the guy's never been in trouble, why is his name all over news all the time? If he's never been in trouble, why are they putting him on FBI most wanted list if the guy's not got a fucking parking ticket on his record? Because if that were me, I'd be upset. All this innuendo going out there, it can't be nice, can it? If he's innocent.
Well, he can't be innocent, nor can he be guilty because there are no formal allegations.
So why is there a $5 million reward out for him by FBI then?
Russ, come on, man. Now, you know, like I do, right? Once you let the old bill get their hands on you, they control when you leave.
Oh yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, do you want to go through that? And once that happens, right? everything then falls apart because now you have to say, well, he's part of an ongoing criminal investigation. We can't deal with him, this, that, and the third. As long as he stays where he is now, he puts pressure on the Irish government to charge him and the US officials to charge him with something.
Well, it just seems to be dragging on a bit. And what's going to happen if something does happen? Is all these boxers, are they all going to be tied up and not being able to fight? Because it'll have a big knock-on effect for the boxing community, wouldn't it?
You have to remember, a lot of guys are getting paid because of MTK, Pro Bellum, whatever you call it. A lot of guys are making a living because these guys pay on time and they pay a fair wage.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think you'll see that bottom end of the market just fall out completely. I mean, so we'll go back to what we had before, where we just had the main televised guys. A lot of things, if they stopped that MTK money coming into boxing, a lot of things would fall off a cliff immediately.
Oh my God, I know people who with MTK that get 500 a week.
Just for breathing.
Just for breathing, just for being with MTK, 500 straight away, that's your expenses covered. And it's good. And there's been a breath of fresh air, but if it's getting to the stage where they're going to shut them down, it's going to have a knock-on effect for everybody. I mean, I'm already seeing people who put stuff out on social media. It's been sent to me today. He seems to be flapping, doesn't he? Bob Arum's flapped. He's shut shop up and he don't want to work with Kinahan. You've got Sam Jones coming out saying Kinahan's best blowjob he's ever had. No, I didn't. Not best blowjob. Best advice. Best advice. Sorry.
Hey, you're going to get a knock for that one. I think you meant to say best one he's ever given.
Yeah, I think best advice he's ever been given, Sam Jones. He said on his Twitter today that it's from Daniel Kinahan. Well, that's good, but have you ever thought, though, Sam Jones, that Daniel Kinahan don't want you fucking using his name? Because all these that have been using his name this last 2 or 3 years, they've fucking put him right in the shit, haven't they? Because they were doing all right until Fury opened his big mouth and Saunders, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I'm hearing that he's like, fucking hell, why is everybody putting my name to stuff? They shouldn't be doing that, should they? Should they? His job's to tiptoe around and it'd be secret. And what are they doing? They're making it into a circus, aren't they? And the authorities are not going to have that, are they? It's like with Craze. They got 30-year recommendations. One died after 26 years. Reggie ended up 3.5 years over his recommendation. That will be because everybody kept using his name all the time and eventually just said, you know what, we're never going to let them out. Do you know what I mean? Well, he's a bit like that. He could have carried on being in background and it'd be nice and sweet. And then you've got Big Mouth Fury there, who's never done a day in jail in his life, shooting his mouth off about Dan the Man and this and that and biggest fight ever. Never even got fucking made anyway. So he's boasting. Not only did it put Kinahan in 5 in line, the fight never fucking happened anyway. Do you know what I call that, Terry? Shit chatters. Swimming in a shit feast of shit.
Right. So this is a real mess. And what will happen with boxing is boxing will drag its feet and boxing will say we need to get every last penny out of these guys before we're told we can't. And so boxing won't take the lead on this. They won't at all.
No, have you noticed how nobody's coming out saying no? Not IFL. Nobody dares say a word because they're all in cahoots. But where the shit's going at the fan is, the US Treasury are shutting bank accounts down out there belonging to certain people. And anybody who's done business with them, they'll shut them down as well. And soon it'll be in England. And then who's done business with them in England? Well, we know half of them, don't we?
Well, we do and we don't. So these things often are about who the money touches. So Russ, you and I can do a deal, right? We could talk on here about, yeah, Russ, I'm going to buy this off you for 20 grand or whatever. But if you're under sanctions and I'm under sanctions, we can always find a way for other people to exchange the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so if those people aren't connected to us and you can't find the connection, you can't really void the transaction. And I think you will just find that they'll just find really clever lawyers to find ways around this. So what you need to do actually is you need to prevent people like lawyers and accountants from working with these guys.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? Boxing, you don't need a manager's license to be managing fighters. You just say, fuck off to the board, I'm an advisor. That's it, they can't do no, can they?
Yeah.
Can't do anything. What do you think they used to do when they were sending Dennis letters saying, Dennis, we're suspending your show in 3 weeks because of something Russell said to Gavin McDonald? Dennis just says, we ain't got a license, he's just an advisor. That's it. They can't denote. They can't denote with Asif Valley. He ain't got a license now. He's a consultant or whatever. There's ways around it. As long as the board are getting paid, they're not bothered. So really, I think Daniel Kinahan, if he's smart, will just keep his mouth shut, not say anything on social media, tell everybody at MTK to keep their pie holes shut, and just go about their business a bit more quietly. It's not rocket science, is it?
Listen, I'm just hoping that we get to live in a world where Daniel Kinahan and Curtis Warren are both free. And they just have a sit down between those two and James English.
James English. Okay, he's always Johnny on the spot, isn't he? James English. You see, he's another one, James English. If he comes over really good in them interviews, but if you were having Daniel Kinahan on your program, it'd do good views anyway. You wouldn't need to brag to everybody that you've got a video done with him and that it's premiering on a certain date, because it'll gather momentum anyway. But by pre-warning them, it gives the legal people a chance to tell you can't put it out there. Personally, I don't think there were a video, because I think they'd have just put it out and say, well, that's it. We've done it. It's out there. You won't premiere out like that because it's too important, isn't it? To risk.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't even something I wanted to watch, to be honest. I'm just like, what's he really going to tell us that we need to know? Nothing.
But he pays everybody in cash.
But yeah, you know, he's not going to tell us about when he was 12 years old and he nicked a few sweets or anything. He's not going to tell us anything interesting. It would just be a propaganda piece. So I'm just like, well, I don't need to watch that.
Yeah, it's if they shut him down, boxing will be on its knees, you know, if they shut him down, MTK. That's what I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You will realize how much of that money was actually going into boxing as soon as they shut him down. We will be back to places like Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Centre, mate. What's
going to happen with people like Sam Jones if they shut Probellum down? And what will Spencer Phelan do for his pundit job at MTK?
Has he still got that?
I don't know. I'd be surprised. I mean, how's Spencer going to cope if his godchildren can't get their Easter eggs off Uncle Daniel?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, you'll realize you'll realize very quickly who's on whose payroll, number one. Number two, I wonder if they've got wiretaps on these phones. And if they do, what are they capturing from people we look at in boxing? You know, what are they capturing on the phone from them? That's going to be really interesting to see actually how connected are people to Mr. Kinahan.
I don't know, mate. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? But like I said, I read that Bob Arum thing last night. Bob Arum distanced himself straight away from him. Bob Arum's like, he wasn't even a real pal. He wasn't really a close mate. He's just somebody I met. Just somebody I picked up at a bus stop when I was scoring weed.
But you see, that's the problem, isn't it? Like in this video age, mate, the things you say live on forever.
I don't bother me because I've got no filter of it. But like I said, Bob Arum.
No, I mean like Bob. Like remember all those times he was talking about Daniel, my good friend Daniel.
Yeah, and Billy Joe were bigging Daniel Kinahan up every single day for about a week, wasn't it, at one point? Coogan, all them people. Where are these people now? There's...
You know the real winner in this is Barry McGuigan.
Go on. Oh, Barry McGuigan will be sat laughing, won't he? No.
Yeah.
I personally, I always root for the underdog. So I hope he goes to another country and goes on his toes and gets away and never seen again. Because if it were me, I'd be taking a slow boat to China, mate, with a big bag of Reddies That'll be it. I'll be just gone in one direction, mate. Money solves everything. If you've got money, it'll solve everything, mate. But I just hope that the geezer goes on lamb. He goes on the lamb
with Lord Lucan.
Yeah, hey, listen. Yeah, he might end up doing that. Well, he's going to have to do it, because why would you want to do a 30 stretch, 25 year in clink? Hey, can you imagine all dark cloud around your head for probably 20 year or 30 year, or 20 of a 30 stretch? Imagine having a bad headache all day for 20 years, because that's what it's like, mate. Right, bad headache. But, you know, he's not paying my bills, and so... Okie dokie. I just want to finish off on Anthony Joshua and Usyk, Terry. What do you think about Saudi being in play and with human rights record in that? Do you think these lot even care?
No. If Putin put up the money, they'd fight in Russia.
Yeah, they would, yeah. Any others say, my fighters are like my family, I have a duty of care.
Listen, if Vladimir Putin said, we'll give Joshua 150 million to fight in Russia, mate, there'd be Rocky IV montages of Joshua chopping wood in the snow. You see all of that stuff, man. They'd tell you it's all about freedom.
Yeah. That's what you'd be up against, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Look, when it comes down to money, people don't really care. As long as it's not them that's getting shot at, they don't really care. There's no morality in sport.
Yeah.
They should be. The Saudis, you know, man, like, it was only yesterday they let women drive, for God's sake. Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And look at all them poor gay fellas that they threw off that building. 3 stories up, 8 of them, lobbed them all off, didn't they? One after the other, about 8 years ago. What's all
and
that
no one makes a peep. No one makes a peep, because what they're really good at, Russ, they have PR people on retainer. And those people's job is to make sure that all the stuff that happens in Saudi doesn't come up on your Google search, doesn't get into the media. They just suppress everything. And they pay a lot of money for that.
You never see out like that about them. It's very rarely a story breaks, doesn't it, about Saudi, isn't it?
Mate, same in a lot of these countries. So, like, my uni mate is organizing the World Cup in Qatar, and they've got people on retainer.
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, thank you for coming on, Terry. It's been nice to speak to you. Hope you're well.
No, mate. Yeah, and you, mate. Like, you got big few weeks coming up.
Yeah, Turkey next week, and then I'm off.
Back to the scene of the crime, mate.
I'm off back to the scene of the crime, see the stomach surgeon and the dentist people, and I'm back on May the 7th in the hot seat. Yeah. So I've got a bit of 25 days off, and after today.
That's mad. So we're not going to hear Porky talk about Spence Ugas. So you're not even going to do a video on Fury versus White. What happens if White wins?
I will. I'll film out there, won't I? I'll film in Turkey.
Yeah.
I'm going to do helmets out there. I'm going to do a weapon at week and helmets. I'll cover Fury fight one, but I'm not doing that over this weekend's thing. There isn't really much to talk about after this weekend, is there?
It's just what is? Oh my God! It's
Conor Ben.
Oh Jesus!
Conor Ben.
Although I now have a lot more love for Conor, having seen Campbell Hatton, than I did before.
Campbell Hands of Stone Hatton. What about Errol Spence?
Oh, that's on this weekend, isn't it?
Saturday. Hey, what about Errol Spence's card? What a card that is! What PBC have put out. Did you see it?
Solid
card, that one. That's a proper card.
That's a pay-per-view card. It gives you everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got entertaining trade fights. You've got guys coming up. You've got fights that are like, oh, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing that on pay-per-view. Yeah. Giving the fans their money's worth.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree, Terry. I agree wholeheartedly. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, you have a great rest of the day, and I'll speak to you later.
Yeah, we'll do it. Speak later, mate.
Cheers, kid. Take care.
Keep supporting boxing.
Yeah, don't have nightmares.
All right, bye.
Good night, bye. Well, that was Terry Chappendama. Yeah, well, today's 13th. So I'm going to send this to Cameron now and get intros and whatnot put with it. And I've just got one more video to do now with Max later on. That is it. That is it. So I'm back in May. Just let's have it right. We're going around in circles, aren't we, this fucking boxing game? But I hope everybody has a great rest of the month. Good luck to Conor Benn this weekend. Good luck to Errol Spence. Good luck to Chris Van Heerden. Good luck to that Ugas who fights Spence. And good luck to Dylan White and Tyson Fury. I hope they both get home safe after the fight next week. But I'll cover that fight when I'm in Turkey. Day after we in Hangover, probably. And I will do some bits and bobs while I'm out there. It's going to be bored, isn't it? A couple of weeks out there. But, all right. So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Don't have nightmares. All right. Big shout out to Eastwood Autos next door. Big shout out AJ Hobson. How are you doing, AJ? Hope you're well. One of the big hitters from Innovation Alloys. Proper people. Yeah, proper people. Peace out.
Pop, pop, bang! On the floor. End of. Give me them belts back where you stole them, you bum. And that's it.